this video, I want to give 5 basic tools that I have found through my research and in my work with hundreds of clients are consistently successful in changing patterns in our lives. And a little backstory, I'm going to try to say this quickly because I want to keep these videos brief, but I sat down one day after working in this field for a number of years, and I said, really, what are the basic things that I'm having people do that are successful? And I wrote down a list of 4 things. Later, I ran across a program that had been put out, I think it was on the History Channel, and I think it was the History Channel or Discovery Channel, something like that. And it was on the brain. So I eagerly watched it. I wanted to know what people were being told, because sometimes some of these aren't that accurate. And it actually was really good. And they showed, they talked about dealing with stress and fear and anxiety. And they used the Navy SEALs as their examples of people who were really good at dealing with stress. And one of the, they interviewed a psychologist who had been working with the SEALs and found what he said were 4 things that really improved the outcome rates of how many people passed. They went from 25 people passing to 33%, so from a quarter to a third of the applicants getting through a particular part of the SEAL training. And he listed off 4 things. And it was the same 4 things, slightly different names, but it was the same 4 things. I went to a workshop with a psychologist who was an expert in treating trauma-related issues. And at the beginning of his workshop, he said, I just want to let you guys know I've written down 4 things that I find are really the helpful tools. And it was the same 4 things. So I felt like there was a convergence. And but basically, there's 5 things. And the first one has to be the first one, because the others, you can't access the others without this first one. The first one, I don't have great names for any of them. I call this having an awareness or an observational self. And basically, it's decreasing the physiological arousal that happens, if you remember our brain model, when the limbic system takes over. We've got to bring back our prefrontal cortex back online. I'm going to give you an overview of all 5 of these tools, and then I'm going to make some subsequent videos about each tool. But we need to get our prefrontal cortex online. We do that by some form of mental and physical relaxation. I'm not in love with the relaxation idea. You're not going to be doing 20 minutes of meditation. You're not going to be doing any of that stuff. But we do have to have some way to get this back online, because remember, sensory inputs come in and hit this limbic system, and if it says it's a danger or you have to have it for survival, we shut off our prefrontal cortex. We can't think straight. So we get our prefrontal cortex online, and then the other 4 steps are, or 4 components. The first one would be challenging the false beliefs. Go back and we're going to get into challenging, but go back and watch the bus driver video, and you'll see that we have been wounded. We have false beliefs that cause us to go in protective patterns, and this is usually in an unconscious, unaware, compulsive and impulsive pattern in our lives. It's our limbic system takes over. The false beliefs, maybe it's telling you, maybe it's a wound that tells you you're worthless, and so you have a pattern to help you numb the pain of your shame, to feel some immediate pleasure. Well, we have to challenge those false beliefs. We have to challenge those beliefs, because those beliefs cause us, if you remember the bus driver, to go in unhealthy and unhelpful patterns. And so we have to be able to challenge those and know, what do I need to tell myself in this moment? The third piece is mental rehearsal. And that's basically visualizing the battle before you're in it. We want to visualize not what we don't want to do, or try to, and sometimes if you think about public speaking, that's a good example of a place people use visualization or mental rehearsal. People are unsuccessful when they try to visualize themselves being relaxed when they speak, if they tend to be anxious. What I usually teach people to do is, imagine you get up there and you go total panic mode. what do you need to do in that? So we want to visualize success when the battle is the hardest. The fourth piece is to have small, achievable steps rather than seeing yourself being successful or unsuccessful. So there's just one turn you're making. See yourself if you can, break the thing up, whatever your challenge is, into small, doable steps. Perhaps it's, I'm going to wait 10 minutes. Something doable. Maybe I'll wait 5 minutes. Maybe I'll wait 30 seconds. Whatever you can do before, let's say you're trying to engage in something other than, responding to difficult feelings or difficult, whatever your trigger is. You get triggered and you tend to watch pornography. Let's say you're like, you know what, I'm going to delay that. Don't try to say you're going to delay it for the rest of your life. Just get through the next 10 minutes or just get through the next hour. I find that's much more successful because it's doable steps. The fifth piece is we have to be willing to feel what we don't want to feel. We may have to allow ourselves to feel some discomfort. We're going to have to get out of our comfort zone in order to be successful and change. I'm going to end this video here, but that's 5 steps. Arousal control, what I call an observational yourself, basically being aware, we get our prefrontal cortex back on, challenging false beliefs, the mental rehearsal, doing things in bite-sized, doable steps, and be willing to feel. That is a recipe for success, and I'm going to make videos about each one of those ingredients that so that you can learn some tools, practical tools that you can put in place and greatly improve your chances of success.